Today on Carolina News, access and independence. Advocates rallied at the State House to help those with disabilities.
Just because I learn different, that doesn't mean I'm retarded.
Hear from those impacted by this cause. Lexington school's threat. Local authorities are still investigating the latest threat at a Midland school. Social media addiction. Could your favorite sites be affecting your brain? Experts say this may be the case.
From the University of South Carolina, your news, your sports, your weather. Carolina News begins now.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Bree Briggs.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Tori Gessner. Today marked Advocacy Day for access and independence at the State House, where people are fighting for those with disabilities.
Individuals with disabilities are the state's largest minority group. The organization, Able SC, wants lawmakers to act on barriers in everyday life. Their priorities include examining how state money is used to make buildings ADA compliant and removing a sub-minimum wage for the employed.
People who live with disabilities are not only pushing for change, but they're also pushing for acceptance. Our Jasriel Golden has more.
Just because I learn different, that doesn't mean I'm retarded.
Kendra Gaines has a disability, but you can't tell just by looking at her.
Being in special ed all my life wasn't easy. I'm capable, able to live on my own. I want people to know there's nothing you cannot do. You can do it.
Kendra says she won't let her disability hinder her, and she wants other advocates to do the same.
You know, the little rinky-dink jobs. I'm here to tell you, go back to school and be all you can be.
Kendra joins others with disabilities to support equal access and independence for people like her. Julia Hartman says Advocacy Day is needed because it's important to break barriers and because there's one ability no one has.
No one has the ability to read your mind. In order to have people understand what your wants and needs are, you need to communicate in some way.
And the form of communication does not matter, written, spoken, or with a device, because
communication is important because it connects us all.
Breaking barriers help connect everyone at the State House, no matter the triumph they faced.
When I was trying to cross the street here to get to the State House, there was a button to let the traffic light know that I wanted to cross, and I can't reach the button.
And although each advocate's story is different, they all hope to break barriers and push for better access. With barriers in housing, transportation, and even employment, it's important for others to know the value of an unnoticed workforce.
When you hire someone with a disability, then you usually get an exceptionally hard-working person.
But sometimes getting hired can be the hardest part.
On paper, during interviews, they were really excited to see me, but in person, they seemed really scared and uneasy.
An uneasiness that Julia hopes to see fade. Because at the end of the day, a broken crayon still colors. Jasriel Golden, Carolina News.
Able SC has focused on a bill named the Employment First Initiative Act, which would fight for fair payment for employees with disabilities. The bill will be debated in a committee in the State House tomorrow. It is shaping up to look like a beautiful day, though. Kylie Jones is out at the Kennedy Greenhouse celebrating her birthday. How is it out there, Kylie?
Hey Tori, it's a great day for a birthday today. It's about 76 degrees, not too hot and not too cold. The sun is peeking through the clouds right now, and you can see it coming out a little bit as I speak, but it's a beautiful day outside and the temps are perfect. So try to get outside today if you can. But be careful because the pollen count is around 9.2 right now, which is pretty high. So grab the allergy meds if you're heading outside. I'll have your full weather forecast and some good news for the weekend coming up later on in the show. Back to you.
Thanks, Kylie. 14 South Carolina Corrections employees now face federal charges related to bribery and contraband. Officials say the officers brought drugs and cell phones into the state's institutions. This comes a week after the deadly prison riot at Lee Correctional Institution in Lee County. The defendants are expected to appear in court later today. And we now know the cause of death for the 7 inmates killed in last week's riot at Lee Correctional. According to the Lee County coroner, all 7 died from severe blood loss due to multiple sharp force injuries from stab wounds. 5 died at the prison and 2 later died at a Florence hospital. Cell phone video captured inmates holding shanks and the blood-covered prison floor during the violent riot. This was the deadliest incident in a U.S. prison in a quarter century. A woman at the Columbia Psychiatric Hospital is being accused of kicking a patient. According to officials, Angela Harrington is being charged with abuse of a vulnerable adult. The incident happened last month while Harrington worked as a behavioral assistant at G. Werber Bryan Psychiatric Hospital. Warrants say Harrington grabbed a woman at the facility by her hair, pushed her to the floor, and kicked her in the back several times. Harrington denies committing the offense.
A lifelong golf fan whose final wish was to meet his idol Tiger Woods has passed away. Shane Caldwell was battling stage 4 lung cancer. You may remember his stepdaughter, Jordan Miller, posting a tweet asking for people's help to make her stepdad's dream come true.
This thing went just viral on Twitter. 1.7 million views this morning.
Luckily, at the Masters golf tournament, Caldwell got to meet his idol. On Tuesday morning, Miller announced via Twitter that her stepfather died on Monday. Caldwell was 52 years old.
Lexington officers are still looking into a threat made at a local middle school. Parents rushed into the school to remove their children. Today, we followed up on the active investigation.
Our Morgan Cox is in the newsroom with an update. What's the latest, Morgan?
Bree and Tori, I spoke with Corporal Mortensen today, and he informed me that the investigation is ongoing. However, they do not think it's an active threat. However, there are multiple police officers at schools across Lexington County. I visited the mother of a Lexington middle school student to get her reaction on the threat. The day after parents were pulling their children out of Lexington Middle School due to a threat on Snapchat, one mom explained how she felt after hearing what had happened.
Scared initially because, anytime there's a threat, you never know what to expect. And even though it's a middle school, they're not, exempt from doing things that are kind of off kilter.
Besides the frustration of not finding out about the threat until after she dropped off her son, she feels that the school and Lexington police officers did the best they could to ensure safety to faculty, students, and parents.
I do feel like they took precautions, things were in place, and even though he was at school and he felt a little unnerved by everything that was going on, I think that's normal. I felt like he was safe with the security that was there.
However, Turner believes that social media is not something young children need to be involved in.
Social media with very young children, even middle schoolers, it's not a good idea. You hate to keep them socially uninvolved, but it is probably, they probably aren't emotionally ready for it. For us, social media is not happening right now, and I couldn't be happier.
Lexington police officers will continue to be at schools until the investigation is complete. Live in the newsroom, Morgan Cox.
And speaking of social media, coming up next, have your favorite apps turned into your secret addiction?
Hear from experts who say social media could be affecting you and your brain.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh,
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it comes.
oh Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, Let's see what you can do. All right, let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Have you ever found yourself spending hours on social media? Well, some researchers are suggesting it could be addictive and could be affecting your brain. Earlier this week, I was able to investigate this theory. A book entitled Irresistible: The Rise of Addictive Technology and the Business of Keeping Us Hooked by Adam Adler claims when someone likes an Instagram post or any content that you share, it's a little bit like taking a drug. As far as your brain is concerned, it's a very similar experience. But are these claims completely accurate?
I mean, there is definitely a reward. There's a release, there's a feeling, but to say it's comparable to drugs or alcohol, I think maybe is a stretch.
A stretch that Director of Mental Health Initiatives April Scott explains.
If a person stops taking alcohol, their body is going to go into withdrawals because it has affected their both brain neural pathways as well as their body. So with social media, technically nothing happens if you stop.
So if not addiction, how can it be classified? Psychologist Professor Neil Livin says social media and use of technology in general can lead to addictive-like behaviors. Dopamine is a neurochemical reward associated with motivation and pleasure. So when you post a picture on Instagram, the possibility of receiving likes is what increases the release of dopamine in your brain and what keeps you coming back.
If I posted the day before, my favorite thing is like to refresh Instagram and just see if I got any likes overnight, which is so stupid now that I'm saying it out loud.
How many followers do you have on Instagram?
A little over 13,000.
USC grad student Olivia Wright felt the effects of social media when she first hit 10,000 followers.
I got really wrapped up in it. That's why I don't follow that many people. People think it's because I'm like being bougie, but really I will sit and scroll on Instagram all day if I follow that many people.
She gives advice on how to not be so caught up in social media.
It's just Instagram. As soon as you stop posting on it, honestly, you might feel better.
Signs of an addictive-like behavior with social media can be like this.
It's like you're supposed to be working on something, but you're on social media. And if things like that are happening over and over again, that's when you're getting into that stage of possibly addictive behavior.
Scott encourages people to take breaks and reflect on what you're actually getting from social media.
Asking, what am I trying to distract myself from so much? Like, what's really going on? And I think once people start digging, they'll see, okay, I might need to talk to somebody.
Because even though social media can't be classified as an addiction, it can still become an unhealthy relationship. As of now, the American Psychiatric Association and the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders do not officially recognize social media as a behavioral addiction. Professor Levin says that will probably change in the future. Facebook is publishing its rules and guidelines for deciding what users can post on their site. The list of banned content includes hate speech, pornography, violence, and even cannibalism. Content reviewers use these guidelines in deciding whether or not to remove a flagged post. The social media giant has never made this list public until now. Facebook executives say they want their users to understand how company policies are applied to their social media posts.
It was a dinner fit for a king, or rather two presidents. President Trump and First Lady Melania welcomed more than 100 people to the administration's first state dinner. The guests of honor, French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife. Among other attendees were Vice President Mike Pence and his wife Karen, as well as Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. The White House is rallying behind Veteran Affairs nominee Dr. Ronnie Jackson following recent allegations. The doctor is accused of improperly dispensing prescription drugs and becoming intoxicated while on the job. Senator John Tester says Jackson is known as the Candy Man. President Trump is continuing to back up his nominee.
I really don't think personally he should do it, but it's totally his. I would stand behind him, totally his decision.
The allegations against Jackson have both Republicans and Democrats concerned.
One officer is dead and another is in critical condition after a shooting at a Dallas Home Depot store. The shooting happened on Tuesday afternoon. 29-year-old Armando Juarez was captured Tuesday night after a car chase. He will be charged with at least 2 counts of aggravated assault on a public servant. According to jail records, his bail has been set at $1 million. The Toronto Blue Jays are paying tribute to one of their biggest fans. Great-grandmother Dorothy Sewell was one of the victims in Monday's deadly attack in Toronto. Her grandson says she was a massive sports fan and loved the Toronto Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays paid tribute to the victims during the pregame ceremony yesterday. The words "Toronto Strong" hung on the banner center field and on the mound. Toronto police are still investigating the attack.
Well, today's a perfect day for a baseball game.
It definitely is. I wish I was outside right now. Let's go back to Kylie in the Kennedy greenhouse for an update. Kylie?
Next few days because it's beautiful and this good weather is on a roll. It's a little bit breezy right now, but it feels great. But find out if this good weather will stick around through your weekend after the break.
See the new gorillas and feed the giraffes at Riverbank Zoo, Columbia.
Welcome back to Carolina News. We've had a beautiful day here in Columbia for most of the day. The clouds are coming out right now. The sun is kind of lost behind the clouds right now, but it's still really nice out. The temperatures are around 76 degrees. Like you can see, humidity is pretty high at 43%. So hopefully we don't see some showers come in tonight. It should be pretty clear though. Winds are also pretty low. They're 8 miles per hour, so not too bad. It's pretty calm outside. Currently in the state, we're seeing around 76 in Columbia. It's pretty consistent throughout the rest of the state. Down by the coast, it'll warm up a little bit in Charleston. Hilton Head, it'll be around 75, 75 in Myrtle Beach as well, 75 in the Midlands. And then if we look at Greenville, it's gonna be a little cooler in the upstate, around 72, but it's gonna be pretty warm throughout the state today. If we go into tonight's lows, it's gonna drop down a little bit, but it's not gonna get too cold. We're gonna see 57 in Columbia, 59 in Hilton Head, so it's gonna be a little warmer on the coast. We're gonna go up to 58 in Charleston, so it's gonna be pretty warm still in the evening. If we move on to tomorrow, temperatures are gonna stay kind of the same. They're gonna go up a little bit in Orangeburg and Florence. We're gonna see 77 in those areas. Hilton Head, we're gonna see 73, Charleston, 76. The record is 95, so we're nowhere close to that, but it's supposed to be a pretty nice day. The sun will be out tomorrow for sure. And so if we go into our pollen count, because the pollen is supposed to be pretty outrageous these next couple days, the pollen is gonna get pretty high. It's gonna stay consistent throughout the end of the week. So Friday, we're gonna see very high pollen into Saturday and Sunday. So make sure, like I said, you take those allergy meds because the pollen is gonna be out. On to our 5-day forecast. Today, again, 76. As we move into our weekend, it's gonna be really sunny, really nice. Temperatures are gonna be high in the 70s, so get outside over the weekend. It's gonna be great. That's your 5-day forecast. After the break, Trevor Beck will be back with sports.
My little girl loves to play outdoors. It's just too hard to keep her inside. I really don't have enough time to play with her, and she cries if I don't let her out. She does bring home some disgusting things. I don't know what she gets up to while she's gone, but she always comes back.
You wouldn't treat your child this way. Why is it okay for your cat? Please, be responsible. Keep your cat indoors.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Carolina News. I'm Trevor Beck with sports, and let's get started right into baseball. We're finally getting our favorite team back together as the USC baseball team took on Furman last night and won 10-2. The Gamecocks had a season best with 17 hits in the game, 4 hits coming from Jonah Bright and 4 hits coming from good old Carlos Cortez. And Corey Stone pitched a scoreless 9th inning for Furman as the USC wrapped up the win. The men have a 4-game win streak, and we hope that continues when they travel to Tennessee this weekend to take on Vanderbilt for a 3-game series. And we're going to keep it in the diamond with USC softball as number 10 Jana Johns has been named Freshman of the Week for a second time. This season, Johns is the first Gamecock in program history to receive 2 Freshman Week awards, and is also the first time in program history for the Gamecocks to have 2 Players of the Week awards and 2 Freshmen of the Week awards in 1 year. Congrats on John and her award. USC men's golf is headed to lovely Sea Island for the SEC Men's Golf Championship. The team will play a practice round in the morning and then tee off at 2 on hole 10, along with Missouri and Tennessee. Coach Bill McDonald is proud of the team for making it into the championship and had this to say.
Well, they're just great young men to begin with, and they've had a tremendous influence on our program that'll be not only felt for years to come, but just really, really happy.
Now let's take it to the USC track with eyes on Titi from Butterworth, South Africa. Titi was named SEC Men's Runner of the Week after he ran a 22nd exactly time on the 200 meter, which is a new record for USC history, the highest 200 time for the NCAA this season, and is the 3rd fastest time in the world. Oh my goodness. But it almost didn't happen after Titi's leg cramped up right before the race.
Just before the 200, just go through a couple stride outs and, did that, and I felt a little better. And it's just, it's just a blessing because it almost didn't happen. And so I'm just really grateful that we made that decision to run the race.
And now on the outside of the university, check out this 15-year-old from Lee County, South Carolina. Trayvon Pearson is 7 foot 2 inches and dreams of playing in the NBA. He says he wants to play with North Carolina and then play for the Cavaliers or the Boston Celtics.
I want to go to North Carolina, play for North Carolina for a little bit. After that, I just want to go to the pros, go to get drafted to the Cavaliers or Boston Celtics.
That boy does not look like he's 15 at all. But that's all I have for sports today. Coming up next on Carolina News is its special day for a special bird species. Find out what today will make you want to waddle with excitement.
go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on.
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
There's a monster in my bathtub. There's one on the couch. There's a monster on my bed.
Keep innocent things from triggering an asthma attack.
Please make the monsters go away.
Learn how to stop their asthma attacks at noattacks.org.
What better way to celebrate our feathered friends than by honoring them with their very own Awareness Day? Every year on April 25th, we celebrate World Penguin Day. There are 17 species of penguins, and most of them live in the southern hemisphere. Their diet consists of mainly fish and sea creatures found underwater. Well, with seeing Happy Feet, they definitely deserve a day.
Oh my goodness. Penguins are my dad's favorite animal, so he's definitely celebrating today. I know for a fact.
Cute.
That is
Love
really
it.
exciting.
I love that Happy Feet movie. It's fun. Anyway, speaking of, April 25th is also Kylie's birthday. She's got the 5-day.
Let's take a look back at our 5-day forecast. It's supposed to be beautiful through the end of the week, high 70s. The sun should be out, and the sun should be out all weekend as well. It's supposed to stay high in the 70s, 77, 78. So really try to get outside and take advantage of that because we don't know how long it's going to stick around. But the sun should stay out, and it should be really nice out. So make sure you plan to do something this weekend. Like I said, get outside because it's supposed to be really nice. And into your week next week, it'll be nice on Monday as well. Back to you.
That's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for being with us.
See you tomorrow. Have a great evening.